My name is Lena Mercer. I'm 33, the oldest child, the one everyone expects to fix things. I work as a private investigator. I see the things people try to hide, the hesitation before an answer, the story that sounds too polished, the detail intentionally left out. At home, that talent turned me into the family bank account. For 7 years, I cover my sister's medical school expenses, tuition, rent, scrubs, exam costs, everything. I survived on cheap meals, drove a car that rattled with every mile, and took extra cases at night. My parents admired my strength, which really meant they appreciated that I never complained when they demanded more. The night everything changed started in my mother's kitchen. I was slicing onions when my sister, Tessa, walked in carrying her new white coat over her arm. "Tomorrow," Mom said, not taking her eyes off the stove, "you'll drive her downtown for the ceremony." "I'm already going," I replied. I cleared my afternoon. Tessa tore open a piece of mail on the counter. "Be on time," she said. "Don't disappear." "I've never missed one," I answered. She didn't even glance at me. "You miss plenty. You just spend money to cover it up." I kept cutting until Mom's voice slipped in, gentle and absolute. "Your only purpose is to sacrifice. That's your place in this family." The knife paused. My hand remained steady, but something in the room shifted, like a picture hanging crooked on the wall. Tessa looked directly at me. "It's simple," she said. "Let me shine." 3 days later, Grandpa Elias died, and grief quickly became paperwork and arrangements. In the family group chat, Tessa delayed the inheritance hearing until it worked with her schedule. Mom instructed me to handle the filing. Dad typed, "We're all making sacrifices." I answered, "Okay." 2 weeks after the funeral, a deputy met me at my front door and handed me court documents. My sister was challenging Grandpa's will and claiming that my 7 years of support had been a form of control. The will was read on a rainy Tuesday in a conference room. Grandpa hadn't been wealthy. He left behind a paid-off house, a lake cabin, and his watch. Even so, the numbers made my mother smile turn stiff. The cabin was left jointly to Tessa and me, supposedly to keep peace. The house went to me. The watch went to me. The investments were divided 60-40 in my favor. There was also a letter addressed to me containing a single sentence that burned. To the one who paid bills that were never theirs to pay. In the parking lot, Mom squeezed my arm. "Be reasonable." What she meant was that Tessa had sacrificed, as if my 7 years of support were just a footnote. That night, Tessa called. Signed a quick claim. "It's simpler." "For how much?" "We'll figure it out. Just do the right thing." "I want the house," I said. Her voice turned cold. "You're obsessed with rules because you don't understand love." 2 weeks later, a deputy served me again. She was officially contesting the will, accusing me of coercion, undue influence, restitution, and exploiting Grandpa's cognitive decline. Attached were photographs of me leaving Grandpa's house carrying folders, screenshots of our texts, and copies of my checks. The memo lines that read tuition had been reframed as leverage. Not lies, just carefully weaponized pieces of the truth. I read every page until my anger stopped trembling and became focused. I opened my safe. Inside went an envelope filled with transfer records, loan statements, and receipts, 7 years piled together like bruises. Beside it, I placed a smaller cream-colored envelope I had discovered in Grandpa's desk, sealed and addressed to Tessa. Thursday morning, I put on the suit I'd worn to the funeral and met my attorney, Marin, outside the courtroom. Dad spoke quietly. "Let's settle this like adults." Tessa looked up from her phone. "Try not to be dramatic," she said. "I'll do my best," I replied before following Marin inside. In court, Tessa's attorney spoke with the steady rhythm of a metronome. Undue influence, financial coercion, cognitive decline. He held up printed texts, photographs of me sitting at Grandpa's table, and my check stubs as though they were evidence of crime. I watched the judge's expression remain unchanged. Then Marin stood. "Miss Mercer, where did your money go over the last 7 years?" "To my sister," I said, "because I believed in her." Tessa made a small sound that was somewhere between a laugh and a sneeze. "Exhibit A," Marin said. I carried my thick envelope to the clerk. Every transfer, every rent payment, every exam fee. The papers landed on the counter with a soft thump that sounded like thunder inside my chest. Exhibit B, Marin continued. I removed the smaller cream envelope. My grandfather left this for Tessa. I never opened it. The judge nodded toward the bailiff. Tessa broke the seal, read 3 lines, and froze. Color crept up her neck. Exhibit C, Marin said, sliding several screenshots forward. Messages from Tessa to Mom. Keep the loans in Lena's name. If anything happens, I can guilt her. Another message. I'll scare her with court so she gives up the house. The judge turned the pages and then looked at my sister. Do you deny writing these? Her attorney leaned toward her and whispered. She swallowed. No. The judge's mouth twitched. Then he read Grandpa's letter aloud. One sentence about how I had not been born to be used. When he looked up, he laughed. Not cruelly, just in disbelief. In the hallway, Tessa withdrew everything. I kept the house. I kept the watch. I paid off the loans that had clung to my name. That night, I sat alone on my porch, wound Grandpa's watch, and said the cleanest word I know. No, it sounded like a door finally clicking shut.